is episode 2 of my Paving the Way to DA series. It was meant to go on last night, but everyone and their dog seems to be doing like fucking Kerberoasting and ZephrSec videos, so I felt that releasing it the same day as my colleague would probably be not so great. So today I'm going to cover off how the vulnerabilities come about, so how to bring them into an environment, and kind of show you some bits and pieces as to why you might not want to do it in your environment. Now, there is a legitimate reason to have like an SPN set for a user, and I'll explain that in a second. And likewise with ZephrSec, in some instances there is a legitimate reason for having pre-authentication turned off. But in most kind of modern use cases, you're probably looking to have these two not present in your environment. Currently, there isn't really a patch for Kerberoasting, and the same for ZephrSec. There is recommendations from Microsoft and other kind of security vendors as to how to mitigate against it, but in realistic terms, there isn't a like, here's a patch, go fucking apply it, and then you're Gucci. But in actual fact, it's just not. Hold on a second, why is this not coming through? Can everyone still hear me okay? My mic's decided that it's not gonna. Yeah, it is recorded. That's really weird. Yes, alright, cool, excellent. It's just decided that it wasn't gonna do stuff, so that was fun. But that's cool, it's just frozen on my side, so the fact that everyone else can hear me is fine. So yeah, in my lab today, the reason I'm a little bit late is because I got a phone call just before shit happened. Sorry, just before I started the stream, I got a phone call. As one can assume, when you're on the phone, you multitask and you do things accidentally. So what I did was I accidentally deleted my lab. Not the whole lab, just the thing I'd set up for the stream. Thankfully, I had snapshotted it about 4 o'clock. No, it's about half 3 this afternoon. So it's just currently rebuilding as we're speaking. For the setup, we have a Windows 2008 machine. We did have a Kali machine, but it's currently fucked. So we're going to do everything in Windows. I'll explain how you can do it in Kali, but there's basically 2 scenarios you can do this from, but we'll talk about that later on. We've also got that you're not meant to see that. That's fucking good practice, Andy. Good job there. GG, well played. Let's just fucking get rid of that. There we go. We've got a Windows 7 virtual machine here as well, which is going to be our workstation on the estate. And this is where we're going to perform all the kind of attacking from. The server is 2008, the workstation is Windows 7. And those of you who are like uber modern, use all the fucking cloud and all that jazz, yeah, that's cool, but for this scenario, it's a fuck ton easier to explain it in 2008 and Windows 7 than it is to explain it on 2019 and Windows 10, because those operating systems are a little bit more secure than Windows 7 and 2008. And not in an ideal world, yes, you would have the most up-to-date secure shit, but realistically, in big estates and everything else, tends to be older networks and tends to be a bit less secure. So as a result, this is realism. Yes, Windows 7 went end of life in January, but fuck you. So, getting things underway, Kerberoasting and kind of ZephrSec and service principal names are all related. The kind of starting out with the service principal name, an SPN, or sorry, service principal name or an SPN is a feature within like a Windows operating system whereby a user can request a ticket from the domain controller. So they go to the domain controller and go, alright, I want to access this share, or this LDAP session, or this HTTP, or this MS SQL. There's lots of different services you can access. So you go to the domain controller and you go, I want to access this service, and the domain controller goes, right, okay, cool. Here's a ticket. That ticket is access for the specific service. Now that ticket is a hash. That ticket is encrypted with a hash of the user that has access to that service. So in the instance of, for example, LDAP or something, you might have a service account that has specific privileges to access LDAP, and their hash will be that Kerberos ticket. So the process, essentially, the process of Kerberoasting depends on the fact that that service account has a non-null SPN property. So what that means is they have a hash. If they don't have a hash, and there's other ways of doing it, you can't, unfortunately you can't crack it, and you won't get a hash back. So there's no fun in that instance. But for this particular scenario, we're going to go with setting up a user with a service principal name, and we're going to do all that fun stuff. the process of Kerberoasting, so that's what a service principal name is, that's the kind of legitimate functionality, where you request a ticket, get the ticket back, and then you go to the service and you go, boom, here's my ticket, let me in. A bit like Charlie Chocolate Factory, you get a golden, or not a golden ticket, you get a ticket, boom, you're in, cool, you get access, or a gig. Well, think of it in real world scenarios. Kerberoasting is the process of attacking the way in which Windows does this. So what I do in a Kerberoast scenario is I request from the domain controller all of, or a specified amount, or all of the Kerberos tickets available for different services on the network. So there's a multitude of ways you can do that. In this scenario, we're going to be using a tool called Rubius, which is written by a guy called Harmjoy, who works in the States. He's a red teamer. He's written this for this specific purpose. It does both Kerberoasting and actually roasting and lots of other bits and pieces. What Kerberoasting does is Kerberoasting requests the ticket from requests all the tickets from the domain controller, and then you get them all back and you find out all the accounts and everything else, and essentially it gives you hashes that you can crack in things like Hashcat and Jumbo John. Now I know that sounds like a Pawn Star, but no, it's a legitimate tool. John the Ripper, Jumbo John, it's a legitimate thing. So yeah, by doing that you have the opportunity to potentially get domain admin. And in the previous episode we talked about getting local administrator using GPP. This is getting potentially domain administrator by requesting a hash for that said user. There's a few key points before we drop into creating it. By default, after 2008, so after this operating system, we have the Kerberos tickets are in AES format, which is an encrypted format. I mean, they're encrypted both ways, but it's a more secure encrypted format. I think by default in 2016 and 2019, it's AES 256, which is slightly more difficult to crack because it's a bigger key space and all this other fun. I don't know much about cryptography, but apparently it's secure, so that's fine. Before 2008, there was RC4, which is fucking awful, but it's still used in a lot of environments, and that is what we're going after today. One of the kind of issues with the way in which Kerberoasting is Kerberos authentication is implemented within a network is that you can still request a downgrade attack. So you can still go, right, I actually want your RC4 ticket, and even if you've set it with AES, in some instances you can get the RC4 ticket. So it can be quite problematic. So let's get into actually building it. Why would you want to create it? Well, you have services, you want to do that sort of fun stuff. So in our Windows 2008 environment, we've got Active Directory users and groups. So for this particular scenario, I've set up two users. I've set up a user for Kerberoasting and a user for asset roasting. Now, because this is a lab environment and I've fucked about with this multiple times, there are multiple SPNs. So we'll probably see a more realistic setup from that perspective. So the two users I've got here are the test KRB stream user. You probably can't see this because I can't zoom in Windows because Windows is shit. And we've got test AS rep user, which is up here. We've also got a bunch of other users up here, but we're going to ignore them for this point in time. So we're going to dive into Kerberoasting first. So we're going to introduce the issue first. We're just going to view the user quickly and just check what member they are. Right, okay, we need to add, just for the purpose of this, so this service account needs domain admin privileges, I've decided. So we're going to add it, we're going to click OK. Now it's got domain admin privileges, as if by magic for domain admin, but this is from the builder side, so we'll get into the actual hacking shit up in a second. What we're also going to do is we're just going to double check that AES is not enabled, which it's not, which is good. We know that this is now going to be RC4, just based on the fact that these two boxes aren't ticked. When I get into the kind of fixing things later on, we'll tick these two boxes. And from an AS rep roasting perspective, this box will be ticked, but we'll get onto that later on. So we've got our user, which is TS KRB stream. I can spell this time. I spelled Steam last time, but fuck knows why. So we're going to hit apply here, and that's going to change the user. So if we do a quick, hold on, if we do a quick net user, my microphone is in the way of my fucking screen. This is really useful. Net user TSKRB STREAM domain. We'll see that they are domain admin, which is a good sign. So, oh, you fucked up, Andy, already. No, I haven't. It's all good. It's all good. Right. Or maybe I haven't. I need to set this. Right. So the utility we're going to use within Windows is called the set SPN It's a built-in binary to Windows. It's used for setting SPNs, funnily enough. The format for this is -S. There are a bunch of other formats, but for this particular scenario, -S means you can create a service principal name. The first part here is the kind of service that we're after. So in this case, we're doing LDAP. We could have anything from MSSQL, HTTP, other formats in there. There's like a massive list on Microsoft TechNet for all these different bits and pieces. In here, we've got the host that this service is for. So in this case, because we've only got 2 machines on the estate, we're going to use the DC just because it makes life easier. And this is the domain, so purplehaze.defense is the domain this scenario, and this is the port. So this is the port for the service. So in a legitimate scenario, you'd be looking at accessing LDAP on 389 or 66, 66 being LDAP-S, 389 being standard LDAP. But for this scenario, because we're elite hackers, we're going to make the port 1337. Now, everyone knows, or maybe not everyone knows, but most people know you can run services on any port you want, but the standard ones are what standard services run on. So for this purposes, we're going to use elite, and then so you've got service, host name, port, and then the username. So tsk rb stream. Can everyone see the terminal okay on screen? It's not too small. I can increase the font size if it's too small, but we've gotten this far, so if nobody's actually querying as of yet, so that's a good sign. So we're just going to hit return on this, and it's hopefully not going to break. Oh, you've decided you're going to break, haven't you? There we go. It's thinking about it. The fact it's not breaking is a good sign. Where's my iron brew gone? That's not relevant to this point of the thing, but I'm thirsty. 2 seconds. This is not product placement for a vendor either. It's just the fact that I'm thirsty as fuck. Because speaking to you cunts for a few minutes is difficult. Hello, Dave. Or second Dave. Anyway, right. So that's updated successfully. We now have a SPN for the KRB blah 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 fucking user. So that's great. What we're going to do now is that's the implementing the feature. To request it legitimately, I'd go like LDAP blah 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 access the service, but we're gonna fucking break shit. So this is the fun part, I think. So right, we're gonna move that out of the way because it's actually restricting my mouse, which is hella fun. Right, so we go over to our Windows 7 machine, which hasn't logged out, which is good. We're going to use 2 binaries in this instance. So the first one we're going to use is Rubius. As I said previously, Rubius is used by, well, it's not used by, it was built by Harmjoy. It's built for the specific purpose of attacking Windows. If you use it in an environment that has antivirus, it more or less will trigger your antivirus. It's not designed to evade antivirus. You can evade antivirus by, or EDR solutions, endpoint detection and response, by loading it reflectively. So if you're using something like Cobalt Strike or like another C2 framework, you can reflectively load it into memory. So with Cobalt Strike, it'd be execute assembly. But for the purposes of this engagement, we're just going to run it straight up on the fucking desktop because we've not got any AV, because we're super secure, and we don't click on random things because we're good people like that. So we're going to navigate to PowerShell. So I've already downloaded Rubius. I'll put the link to Rubius and all the other things I've used in the video in the description below, because this is hopefully not going to fuck up this time, and I'm going to upload it to YouTube directly after this. So provided I've not fucked anything up too badly, I'll put everything in the description of YouTube and in the blog post. So before we go ahead, I forgot to mention at the start, this series of streams is also backed up by a series of blog posts. I was originally going to make it into one big blog post, but considering the first one was like 2,000 words, there's 5 of them. I don't want it to become a dissertation in blog post terms. So because of that, I've made it into 5 separate episodes. So the first one is up on my blog. You can go and check it over on Twitter after this video. Go subscribe. I'm not good at this video stuff, but alas, I'm better at talking to people in real life. But lockdown, lockdown bitches, all that fun stuff. So I've sworn a lot in this video, and it's already marked as 18+, so it's no problem. Plus it's me, so if you're offended already, that's your fucking problem. Go and check that on the blog afterwards. Everything will be in the blog post for this. Probably publish it in like a week or something. I still need to write it, so the fact that, yeah, anyway, enough chatting, Andy. Get on with the fucking show. So let's do this. So just close that for us. Nope, didn't mean to close. Ah well, and we'll close that as well. Just so we're starting fresh, and just so everyone's in the know. So we're going to run PowerShell from this folder. This folder has our a password list in it. It has Rubius and it has hashcat. We'll get onto that in a second. Right, PowerShell. That's tiny. Come on, Andy. Why did you not fix this beforehand? Properties. Layout. Bear with me, folks. Why the fuck are you being a twat? There we go. That's a bit bigger. Can everyone see that okay? I don't know why PowerShell's got a black background. It's usually blue, but alas. Right. So what we're going to do is we're going to request our Kerberos hashes. Yay! So, how to break it? We're going to run Rubius. There is 3 or 4 other scripts that will do this, both within Windows and Linux. For the purposes of just ease of use, I'm going to use Rubius. But there is things like invoke Kerberos, which is a PowerShell script. There is a C# binary called sharproast, which will also do this. There's a suite of Python tools for Unix or Linux called inpacket, which has a get SPNs Python. My headphones have fallen off. It gets an SPNs and a bunch of other stuff. For the purposes, we're just going to use Windows because we're on the assumption of the scenario that we've landed onto a box that we're inside a domain. So this is the kind of external this is the on-domain scenario. So imagine we've fished a user, we've got a shell back, we're running something like Cobalt Strike or something else, and we're gonna run some shit. So yeah, that's what we're doing. So we're gonna run Rubius with the Kerberos flag, and we're gonna have it format output as hashcat, and then the out file of this. So we're just gonna copy this, and we're gonna hope that Andy can copy and paste correctly. Paste. So I'm gonna hit return. This is gonna do some absolute fuckery really quickly, so that's a good sign. It's done some things, but I'll show you. I'll talk through what this has done. So Rubius has run. I've run it with just the standard flags. What you can do in a kind of more modern environment is request a downgrade attack, which is where you would use the /tgt delgg ticket delegation, basically, where you request a RC4 HMAC key for the accounts. Sometimes it will give you a downgrade, sometimes it won't. From an operational security perspective, OPSEC, if you're doing this and the blue team are watching for it, it's more likely to trigger alarm bells than it is normally. We'll talk about blue teaming in a second once we've gone through and cracked these passwords and logged in as DA, provided I can actually work the computer, which is half the battle. So anyway, it's ran that. What it does first is it searches the current domain for all of the tickets. Now, it's worth noting from an operational security perspective, you should probably tune this a little bit, not just run it outright if you're in a red team engagement. The reason for this is because think of it in an environment where you've got hundreds or maybe even thousands of accounts that have SPNs. What that's going to do is that's going to cache all those tickets on your endpoint, which for any good blue teamer out there or threat hunter out there is going to be like, why the fuck has this hostname got like 1,000 Kerberos tickets for a bunch of accounts it doesn't need? So that's something to look out for, those who work in blue teaming and purple teaming, and also red teaming in general, just to kind of keep in mind. So we found, Rubius has found that there are 3 users that we can Kerberoast, and it's gone away and it's been really happy, and it's requested the RC4 HMAC of that key. So we found that the Andy G user is vulnerable, the ST user ADM account is vulnerable, and the TSK, this account that we've just created. What we can see from here is we can see the different services that the service principal, oh yeah, rainbow teaming, fucking those cunts. Yes, not fucking them. Be crimes, do rainbow teaming. That is the, don't do crimes, folks. Crimes is bad. Bisto. Anyway, right, where was I? I was talking about the services. Be crimes. Yes, Mormid, be crimes. I've lost my chain of thought because I'm being such a good showman. Right. Anyway, so the service principal name has the 3 here. We've got SMB LDAP times 2, the host name, which is 2 different host names and 3 different ports. Oh, magic. Anyway, right. We have written it out to hashcat format. We're going to crack it with a tool called hashcat. You can also use Jumbo John or John the Ripper, both the same sort of thing. But for the purpose of this, we're going to use hashcat because hashcat's fucking godly and it's GPU accelerated. So it's written them out to the Kerberos cracked file, which if we fire up a notepad file, any notepad will do. Notepad++, yeah, I'm going to reload it. What we can see here is we've got a lot of hashes. Why have we got a lot of hashes? Oh, it's because I ran this earlier on. Right, hold on. We're just going to delete these 4 because we don't need them. Yeah, it just saves repeating and all that fun stuff. So we're going to feed these 4 hashes. As you can see, they're in varying lengths. Longer is always better because it usually means that the parcel is a little bit stronger. And we're going to fire up hashcat. So we're going to go back here and we're going to run another PowerShell session. No, actually, we'll do it in the current session we've already got. Hold on. There we go. So we're going to do /hashcat 64. Now, this is the Windows version of hashcat. There is a Linux version. There's also a CUDA version. There's lots of other versions. But for this purpose, we're gonna do it in Windows because it's a lot easier. And Windows is the best operating system. Fucking at me. Great. Thanks for that, Duncan. That's a really disconcerting image. Anyway, that's completely off topic. Right, okay, so we're gonna crack Kerberos hashes. Kerberos hashes, the flag within, or sorry, the mask within hashcat is 13100. So we're gonna do -m, -m13100, and we're gonna do some bits and bobs, and we're gonna sort some shit out. So what we're gonna do first is we're gonna drop the Kerberos hash in there. Which is the crack thing, and then we're going to do. Let's just double check my notes. I think this is incorrect, but we'll just check. That's the word list. Yep, right. Okay, and then the word list. Okay, so as you can tell, well rehearsed. We're going to check the word list in there, and we're going to hope this doesn't fucking break. It might break, but we'll just work it out. So we're going to run that, and that doesn't like it. Oh yeah, it doesn't like it because it's in the fucking wrong folder. Of course it is. Silly me. Right, hashcat. Oh, it means I need to copy this shit into. Hold on. Live demos, they always go well, don't they? Always. Always, always, always. Right, let's just drop that shit in there. Yep, cool. So, we'll go back to the line we just did. We've got the same shit there. We're going to hit return, and it's fucking broken. Great. This is going well. This is going really well. As you can tell, I haven't installed the timer, so there we go. Just fucking hell. Right, okay. Well, we do. So, turns out that Windows doesn't like virtualized graphics cards. Who knew? So, also I'm going to have to re-record all this because fucking copyright. Love it. Anyway, so we've got a currently broken window. Oh no, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. Right, okay. So can everyone... Can't see the text. Right, hold on. Let's just make this a little bit bigger. Right, just make you fucking huge. Oh fuck, that's too big. That is a little bit too big for the window. And as a result, it's fucked. It's fucked. Oh rip. Oh great. Love it. Love it. It's going so well. Right. Okay. So that is fucked. What is going on there? Why are you being such a cunt? Why? There we go. That's a little bit better. That's still very fucked. Come on. Stop being a cunt. There we go. Sort of. Okay, 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 okay. There we go. Right. There we go. So, if we hit return now, this will not fucking break and it'll work and it'll be Gucci. So let's do it. Pistol. Right. And that's not hitting return. Why are you not hitting return? Look, it's starting. As if by magic, hashcat has started to... it's over my face. Oh well, that is... Getting all the onions. Oh my goodness. Look at this. It's cracked 2 passwords. 2! So we've got password exclamation mark here for the Andy G user. Check me. Fucking secure. And we've got Carmex for the password, which is for our other user. So we're going to hide the PowerShell window because we'll come back to that when it comes to it. But the kind of key thing here is it's detected that the Kerberos ticket type is 23, which indicates it's an RC4 hash. I know my face is covered by PowerShell, but we'll get there in a second. And we've recovered 2 out of the 3 digests. There's a reason for that. The other digest, which is another account for the purposes of the lab that Neil and I are running at some point this year, has a different password and we'll have a different word list as a result. So, Yeah, fucking absolute pain in the cunt. Anyway, back to Windows. So we've found that Kerberoasting is fucking really easy when you're running tools that actually work and you have done your preparation and don't have to rebuild the lab at the time of flight or in time of flight. I hope you enjoyed the music break there. We're going to dive into kind of logging in as the domain admin, and then we'll look at how to fix it. So we've got the password for our kind of account. So we're going to log quickly switch users just to prove that we've got domain admin. So we're going to switch user. This is when we find out it doesn't work and it's going to be absolutely awful. But anyway, we'll try anyway. We're going to do PHO, Pornhub network. No, it's not Pornhub. Not Pornhub. Purplehaze.offense. Oh no, have I fucked this up? Anyway, we'll see in a second. TSKRBSTREM 14 Carmex. And that doesn't work. Why does that not work? What have you done, Andy? What have you done? That should work. That should work. Oh, it's because it's the wrong password. That's why. That is why. There we go. See? It's not just me that can mistype passwords. Anyone can do it. It just happens to be me live on stream. So, why is this being a total walloper? What is going on? What is going on? Oh, there we go. Right, okay. So, we've logged in, and as you can hopefully see, there should be a Windows 7 desktop now. No, it should be back now. I'm getting used to using Streamlabs, which has like a edit the window on the left hand side and the actual live shit on the right hand side. So there should now be a Windows 7 thing. So we've logged in as the KRB fucking that person. So we just fire up good old PowerShell just to prove we've got access to this user, and we'll make this slightly bigger using the magic of increasing font sizes or Viagra. They also work. And that's not why. Oh, there we go. There we go. So we've got whoami/groups. Now, for those of you who are absolute fucking hardcore blue teamers and use really cool EDR solution, all that stuff, if a red teamer or an attacker runs this on an estate, on a workstation, your EDR should light up like a Christmas tree. So, yep, lots of fun. So, we've got. Our user is a member of the domain admins. Ta-da! We've got domain admin user, so we can now remote desktop into the domain controller. DC purplehaze.offense. This is gonna fucking work, isn't it? Come on. Yeah. Come on. Nope. It's not working. Rip. This was working before. Why are you not working? Bear with me. Bear with me. This is because remote's not been enabled, isn't it? There we go, that's why. Just enable the insecure one. I don't care at the moment. That's fine. Right, let's go back to our workstation. And close that down. Let's go back to our workstation, which is here. And we're going to RDP in. And as if by magic, ta-da! Right. 14 Carmex. Yep, accept that. Cool. We now have a non-genuine version of Windows. That is irrelevant in this current situation. Fuck off, look, you cunt. It worked now, didn't it? Fucking worked now. Fuck, work. You're not a cunt, look, don't worry. Just remember, pen testers, huh? Anyway, that's an inside joke from when Luke and I were in North Carolina, but that was fun. So, we now have domain admin. We are logged into the domain controller because we're fucking cool cunts like that. So we're going to do whoami/groups. Boom, domain admin, fucking yes. Right. Now that we have domain admin, we can go and fix the issue because we're good folks. But actually, we're gonna log into the DC as the standard user. So, what do you mean you can't see? What? Who can't see what? Can you just to check with the stream? Can you see an administrator prompt in PowerShell? Or am I in the wrong window? Okay, cool. That's fine. That's fine. Right. So we're gonna go and fix the issue. So to kind of the issue around Kerberoasting is because the password is weak. So there are a few things you can do to fix this. There's a slightly less painful way, and then there's a slightly more painful way. The kind of path of least resistance is to change all of your service accounts to a password that's probably 128 characters long. In a kind of practical sense, that's not so practical because you might have legacy services that don't have that don't allow you to have a password of 120 characters. So that's a fucking problem. You also might have certain instances where there's actually issues that you can't do that. The next kind of thing you can do, which is a non-trivial task but is certainly an option, is to enable AES 128 and 256 and force Windows to do that. So we're going to show you how to do that just here. We're going to pull up our Kerberos user, and we're going to go to the properties, and then we're going to go to the account, and we're going to scroll down here, and we're going to tick these two boxes. Now what this is going to do is it's going to essentially enable ES, well actually depending on the operating system you could enable just 256, which means it'll make it a lot more difficult to crack. So if we just enable 256, we're going to hit apply on that user, and then we're going to hit OK. That is going to apply it to the domain. What that's going to do is it's going to force it to be AES 256. Because we've not got any legitimate services that depend on that, because we've not got any services that depend on that service user, this isn't going to impact anything. But in a real world environment, by doing this, you might risk impacting things. So we're going to go back to our attacking machine, and we're going to attack the box again, and we're just going to demonstrate that while I can't work computers, it's quite nice to show that they sometimes. Oh no! Don't restart. Nope, that's the wrong button. Don't want to click that. Clicked that before, and it went really badly. So live demos are always fun. So I'm just going to log on as this user with the correct password. That's good. Right, we're going to go back up one, and we're going to run hash. No, we're not. We're going to run Rubius again. So Rubius, where are you? You're here. So we're going to do number 2, and we're going to run this again. And this time should tell us, and it has, that the TSK KRB stream user now has an AES 256 HMAC SHA-1 ticket, which means that it's a lot harder to crack. Because we've currently got the clear text password for it, we'll be able to crack it again because it's in a word list. But in this instance, I'm not going to go back and try and crack because we saw how much pain I went through with Hashcat. I had to actually use it on a different machine. That's why you saw just the PowerShell window. It's a lot easier to do it that way. You could set AES on any domain account with too many issues, I assume. Well, yes and no. You can set it on accounts that are maybe non-legacy, and so let's say legacy, anything before 2008 really. If you set it to AES 256, and the domain kind of minimum domain support is less than 2008, it will break things. If you have like a 2012 domain controller, this is patched by default, I'm pretty sure. If you're running slightly older tech, then that's a bit of an issue. As I said at the start, we're using 2008 and Windows 7, which is kind of usual bits and pieces. But yeah, I won't be posting it later on because I had to unfuck some things. I need to like re-record it essentially, so I'll re-record it later on and then do some bits and pieces just to kind of anyway. So if your baseline domain supported is it's greater than 2008, it won't this RC4 issue won't be so much of an issue because it's not by default. What you can do is downgrade, but alas. So we've got 256, that's cool. That's one of the fixes. The other fix is creating long passwords, which involves password resets and all that sort of fun stuff, which I'm not going to do, but essentially what you can do is you can go into domain users and groups, flip the password off, change it to 128 characters, or even better, you could use like a password vault and generate something that's really random, then rotate it every 30 days just to be total chaos. Additionally, what you can do, I'm not going to demonstrate in this video, but from a blue team perspective, is you can set up what are called honey tickets, so a honeypot with Kerberos tickets. What you do essentially is you set a null value on the ticket, and for a non-legitimate service, as we've done here, with a ridiculously long password, and that is not referenced to anything, and then you log on that. So as soon as anything in your environment queries for that kind of ticket, because they shouldn't, no legitimate purpose should query for a non-existent ticket. You should light up your seam like a Christmas tree, and that kind of alerts you to the fact that there is something going on with Kerberos. The event ID in particular is 4769, because 69 is awesome. But that is the Windows event log ID for Kerberos. My colleague Tim Wynyard has done a really good blog post on kind of honey tickets, which was done inside this lab. But it's up on the company I work for's blog, which I'll tweet out after this. This is a non-sponsored stream, so I prefer not to mention employers and things because it makes life easier. In case I fuck up ridiculously, which I have so far. So, before we go any further, there is one thing you can do in Rubius before you actually query a domain, and I actually forgot to show this at the start. You can use the /stats flag, which will show you kind of what's potentially vulnerable. So if you do Rubius Kerberoast /stats, what this will do is this will just show you the hashes, and it won't write them out to a file, it won't do any of that fun stuff, and it will show you without caching them, essentially, which makes it a lot easier and a lot more fun. So yeah, it's good. There's a lot of kind of things you can do with Kerberoasting from an attacking perspective. It's probably not, if not one of the most common paths to domain admin. To perform Kerberoasting, all you need is a set of domain credentials. Any standard user can request Kerberos tickets, so it is quite an easy privilege escalation from very low level users straight up to domain admin. As we've seen, without hashcat breaking, it's quite a simple process to perform. The patch for it is quite difficult, so as a result, from an attacking perspective, it's really fun. From a blue team perspective, it's not so fun. It's a case of monitoring for these sort of things and kind of acting when shit goes wrong or when shit gets queried. Alternatively, what you could do is just completely wipe out all your SPNs altogether. I've seen some clients do that, where they've had legacy services that no longer require the service account, so that's something worth considering. But as I've said in the past, it depends on your environment. If you've got if you need these accounts, obviously don't go and fucking nuke them, because that's bad. Right, so that's Kerberoasting. Before we move on to AS rep roasting, has anyone got any questions in the comments? I'll answer them now because it means it's easier to fuck about with. And hopefully learning that doing live streams and live demos is fucking difficult, and I suggest you don't take this approach. If there's no questions in like a minute, I'll move on to AS rep roasting. Before we move on to AS rep roasting as well, if anyone doesn't know, my colleague Mr. Turvey, or Luke Turvey on YouTube, has done a video, I think it was yesterday or the day before, on AS rep roasting from a Linux perspective. It's very good, go and check it out. The attack that he demonstrated can be done from outside of a domain. You just need to do a bit of user enumeration. You can do some bits and pieces from there. For the purpose of this, we're going to use Windows, so there's a wee plug. Look, fucking plug me in your next video. That'd be great. Or you don't have to, but hey. Yes, you can do this on Kali. You can do Kerberoasting on Kali using Impacket. The Impacket suite has various things for Kerberoasting. I think there's also a Metasploit module for Impacket, not Impacket, for Kerberoasting. I might be wrong, but I'll tweet out afterwards. Generally speaking, Kerberoasting is done from a Windows perspective anyway, because it's less sus. This is for AS rep roasting. How common is it to achieve AS rep roasting? Right, okay, for AS rep roasting, I never know how to pronounce it. I say AS rep roasting because it's the AS, fuck it. Anyway, how common is it? It's kind of hard to gauge. You see it on environments, bigger environments. You sometimes do, sometimes don't. It depends on really what the environment is doing. It's the same with most vulnerabilities. Some things you find all the time, like you find passwords and files all the time because users are stupid. When it comes to things like Kerberoasting and AS rep roasting, it's down to kind of, you're up against a system administrator who set up the network initially. So if they have done it properly, then you're less likely to have it, or if it's a more modern network, it's also less likely to have it, but it still exists. So without any further ado, let's move on to AS rep roasting. So we're just going to navigate over to our domain controller, which is this one, and we've created a new user, which is the AS rep user. So we're going to go to the account. The account username is TASREP. And we're going to scroll down to the settings, and we're going to tick this little box here that says do not require Kerberos pre-authentication. So Kerberos pre-authentication is usually used by legacy services. It's used generally for like essentially if the service that you have requires a domain user that can't perform, or the service can't perform Kerberos authentication by doing no pre-authentication, that bypasses that. From a kind of usability perspective, yes, there will be some legacy services in place that may require this, but realistically, you shouldn't really be ticking this box. If you find yourself ticking this box, think, well, I watched Andy stream some shit on a Friday afternoon, and it sounded like he knew what he was talking about, so I should maybe listen to him. And if the vendor says otherwise, fuck the vendor. Vendors are cunts. So, anyway, right, we've introduced the vulnerability into the environment. That's my rant over. We're gonna hit OK. We're gonna navigate back to our Windows system. Just bear with me while I unfuck PowerShell again, because Hashcat is going to break on me once again. So I'm just going to make sure that we've got the right folder open my side, so that when it comes to it, we're all good. And sure enough, we have it open. Cool. Right. Hospitals all over the world use really shit operating systems because legacy hospital equipment and medical equipment requires it. That's one of the things, answering the question in the comment. Anyway, right, I digress. So, back to our Windows box. We're going to use Rubius again, and this time we're going to use it with the ASREP flag. And I'm going to pull up my notes so that I know what the fuck I'm doing. The thing what I've found with doing pen testing so long is, while you know a lot of things, the kind of little details are really useful to have in notes. So the fact that having notes in front of me for this is really fucking useful. Anyway, I digress. So, ZephrSec, we're going to do Kerberos, Rubius ASREP/format hashcat. Now, we can use John the Ripper again, but we're going to use Hashcat because we know that Hashcat now works after fucking about with drivers and using a different system. And we're going to do outfile, or output. Oh no, wait, hold on, I've got a file here that actually says what to do. Yeah, so we're just going to do this. Nope, we're going to do this. Outfile asrep_correct. Boom. Right. And this is Rubius is going to go away, and it's going to query a domain controller for users that are. Why is this not working? That's useful. That's really useful. Oh, for fuck's sake! If I downloaded the wrong version of Rubius. Ah, it's because I can't spell. Hold on. Let's just go back to this one. It's asrep_roast. So you got spit roast this bad boy. There we go. Got one hash for one user, which is TASREP. That is for no pre-authentication. What it's done is it's built the AS request, and it's successfully no pre-authentication, and it's written into the file. So if we open up our newly created file, which is in here, no, it's in here, here, and here. We now have a hash, which, if you note here, it's still. Oh no, what have you done, Andy? You fucked it. There we go. It's still type 23, which indicates that it's RC4, and it's got the KRB ASREP. So we've successfully got a Kerberos ASREP. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to transfer over to my other machine, which is now on screen. And we're just going to copy this across. Just bear with me for just a second while I unfuck what is fucked. Kerberos, copy, hashcat, this one, yep, paste, and as if by magic we should have a folder. Yep, do it, cool. Right, so PowerShell window, which you can see on screen but I can't see. Why have you brought? What are you doing, Windows? Why are you doing this? What? Of all the things Windows can do, being an absolute cunt is certainly one of them. What are you doing? Ah well, Fuck it, it'll be fine. Should be fine. Might be fine. Maybe not. There we go, fixed it. Okay, so we do /hashcat 64.exe, exe. We take the hash file, so that's asrep cracked. We take the word list file. We need actually one thing we have forgotten is the mask. So the mask for asrep is, drumroll please, as I find it in my notes, 18200. 18200. Right. I'll just move this over a little bit so I can still see the screen, and that would be really useful if you didn't break on me. Come on, Windows, why are you being a total cunt? Right, can everyone see that okay, or is that really tiny? Just checking in, and that is, it's good, it's good, it's okay. Excellent. Right, now we're going to hit return, and this is not going to break. It's not going to break. Come on. There we go. There we go. See, it's doing some things. This is now assuming that I've put the correct password into the word list, and this is when we find out that I haven't, but we'll find out shortly. Oh, come on. You really are taking your time with this, and this is... Hey! There we go. We successfully recovered the password for the TAS rep user, which was password with an exclamation mark. Yay! All fixed, as if by magic. So it's detected that the hash type is Kerberos 5 AS rep type 23, which is RC4. It's cracked at a very slow rate because the inbuilt graphics card to this machine is pretty shit. So back to our magical Windows host. Just transition that over. So what we've learned thus far is that while Andy can't work computers, I'm okay at explaining it while it's fucking up. But what we have actually learned is that an ASRep attack is actually really simple to do. You just need to run Rubius, or you can run invoke Kerberos with a different flag, or I think Impact also does it, whereby you only need credentials. Go and watch ZephrSec's video on it. He does it a lot better and with a lot less swearing. Also, he's an English cunt, so you don't get to listen to my amazing Scottish accent. And that's why you're all here, isn't it? Because I'm amazing. I'm not amazing, but that's, alas, self-deprecation for the win. So, time to fix the issue that we've created. The issue we've created here is really simple to fix, and the easiest way to fix it is actually just go into the properties of the file, properties of the user, and untick or basically undo what we did previously. So we go to the account, we scroll all the way down, and that didn't work. We scroll all the way down, and we untick this box, and we hit apply, and as if by magic, we fixed it. So yeah, that is how you fix it. It's very simple. It's very easy. It's good to do. As we've seen, it's very quick and easy to get domain admin via Kerberoasting, and equally you can get, in some instances, if depending on the privileges of the user, you can get domain admin via ASRep roasting as well. What I'm hoping to cover in the next video is a similar Kerberos attack called golden tickets, which is where you forge or where we create a hash for a user which lasts for up to 10 years. So it's 10 years of persistence. It isn't applicable in all environments, but for the purposes of the for this lab, it will be applicable. So yeah, it's pretty good from that perspective. From the perspective of ASRep roasting, what you can do with that is, well, you might not get domain admin. What you can do is get a standard user. Somebody's fucking buzzing my buzzer, and I can't be arsed for this shit. They can fucking buzz somebody else. So yeah, interrupting my fucking stream, absolute cunts. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this stream. If anyone's got any questions about the previous episode, which was check out securityqueens.co.uk. They've just published their first blog post this morning, and they're excellent. I'll tweet it out. I have tweeted it out earlier on, but I'll retweet it again. Go and check out the blog by Spookfia. It's all about breaking out of Chirrut jails. She knows a lot more about Linux than I do. Case in point, she asked me to QA the blog post, and I was like, Gonna be honest, don't know much about this subject, so it reads okay from a technical standpoint, but I don't know much from that perspective. So yeah, go and check them out. Follow them at SecQueens on Twitter. So yeah, cheers, folks.